That would be the Gateway Arch, Billy. You were asking me earlier as you were ogling over it. It's not far from Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis, Missouri. Beautiful night again for baseball. The Rockies trying to get it right tonight after falling 8-2 yesterday. Rockies 15 games north of 500. The Cardinals at 48-51, but they began the day just 4 back of Milwaukee. Let's take a look at starting pitcher for St. Louis. Tonight it's 30-year-old Lance Lynn, and who knows, with the trade deadline approaching, this could be his final start, perhaps in a Cardinals uniform. Southwest batting order for the Rockies. Naturally, Charlie's up top. He's over 300. DJ's over 300. Nolan over 300. Gerardo Parra, monster numbers against Lynn, 13 out of 26. Desmond back in there. He was watching yesterday. Cargo about 6. Story, Hannigan, and John Gray. And here's some more on Lance Lynn. One thing with Lance Lynn, Spilly, you know you're going to see a lot of fastballs.
He's a guy that leads second in baseball in fastball percentage, but the last couple starts for him, he's thrown 19 in the 3rd inning, has given up only 14 hits, 10 strikeouts. He's been throwing a lot more cutters that go in his curveball. And as Drew mentioned, this could be his last start. He's been part of a lot of trade speculations. He's a good guy to have when he can pitch with the fastball and he limits contact with it.
Well, the Rockies had success against Lynn earlier this year in Denver. They ran him off after 5 innings. He gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. In his career, he's been pretty good against Colorado. 2-2 at 297 ERA. This will be his 7th start. Product to Ole Miss down in Oxford, Mississippi.
Well, since June, is the 2nd lowest chase percentage in the National League, meaning people aren't going outside of the strike zone to hit Lance Lynn.
Just like that. Charlie's had success as well against Lynn, 5 out of 10. He's one of those guys, you almost feel foolish saying that. It's like when Paul Goldschmidt comes up, you go, okay, who doesn't he have success against, right? Outfield is straight up, infield is straight up for Blackman. 90 degrees our game time temperature. Charlie fouls that pitch off. 2 balls and a strike. Charlie last night was 1 for 4. Rockies were limited to 7 hits. Talking to some guys today. Mike Leake did a really good job with late movement and staying out of that middle 3rd of the strike zone.
Really was. If you think back to last night, there was maybe a handful of pitches that were in the middle of the zone.
And that's a called strike. Charlie kind of glares a little bit at the crew chief fielding Colbreth.
Right there on the Subaru strike zone, you can see why Lance Lynn's so good with the fastball command. Living right on the edges.
All 4 pitches right on the black or off the black. Here's the 2-2. It's a good job by Charlie of wasting a quality pitch. That pitch was a little different. He cut that.
And that's what I said. You're looking at the last couple starts. His last start specifically, this was a guy 2nd in Major League Baseball, 78% fastball percentage. His last start dipped down into the mid-60s and he used his cutter a lot more.
Yachty's going to go in. Charlie doing what he always does. He has great at bat after great at bat. Lynn's a big man. He's 6'5", 270 pounds or so. Charlie wastes another. See the Subaru strike zone. Worked away, came in on that 6th pitch that Charlie fouled off, and then kind of left one out over the plate. And that's a little comebacker. So Lynn wins that first battle with Blackman, 1 out, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. Here's the Cardinals defense tonight. Remember, Dexter Fowler left the ball game yesterday. He's been battling a wrist situation. He was placed on the 10-day DL, and that man out there is one of the top prospects in the Cardinals chain, Harrison Bader, and he's making his major league debut tonight. Pham is to his left, and actually to his right, and in right field is Randall Grichuk. Greg Garcia is getting a start at third base. DeYoung, Wong, and Carpenter. Matt Carpenter's back in there. And Yachty, if he's healthy, catches every day. He's caught more innings than any other catcher in baseball this year. Here's the 1-0 from Lynn. And that's in there, 1-1. LeMahieu 2 for 4 last night. He's hitting .398 over his last 28 ball games. The only guy in baseball who's hitting better than DJ over the last month or so. This is on the ground to DeYoung. Is that diminutive second baseman for the Houston Astros, who's hitting 8,000. He's hitting .456 since June 15th.
Come on. I think it's over 500 in the month of July.
He is hitting over 500 in July with thumb.
Crawford boxes are pretty short.
We always, here's the thing, we always want to hand out awards prematurely. And we do it up here too. We say, hey, you know, if you voted right now, you'd have to look at so-and-so as an MVP. I mean, the Rockies, I think, have 2 MVP candidates in Nolan, who's up there right now, and Charlie Blackmon, if the season were to end today. But the season doesn't end today. I think everybody wants to give the MVP award in the American League right now to Aaron Judge. I get it. Phenomenal. It's been remarkable. However, see how the next 2 months play out, because Altuve is going to be in the conversation.
No doubt.
2 strikes on Nolan.
And if he continues to hit 500 throughout the year, he's going to be close to 400 batting average. He might have the shot at it.
He's a marvelous player. Impacts the game in a lot of ways. Lance Lynn, as Billy was saying, he's been pitching very well of late.
It's only been 1 earned run in the last 20 innings. And 2 of the 3 starts, his last 3 starts, only giving up 3 hits. I always enjoy watching a pitcher that has such command of fastball. And as we watch Lance Lynn, notice how he stands on the first base side of the rubber. Gets over there to create that angle. Doesn't have a ton of sink, but enough movement, enough deception with his arm that he can create the angle to give the sinking effect to a right-handed hitter. And then he has enough of a cutter to get in on a lefty.
2-2. And he strikes out Nolan. So a good start for Lynn. 2 ground balls and a punch out. John Gray will be on the mound when we get back to St. Louis. Time to play defense behind John Gray. Gray looking for his fourth win this year. He is 3-1 in these 4 decisions, 32 innings, and the lofty ERA. He has got to stay away from walks, stay away from the middle of the plate. All the stuff you say about pitchers.
For me, it's all about fastball command. We know that it's a big fastball, 96 miles an hour, but if you cannot pitch to one side of the plate, or you cannot use all 4 quadrants, you cannot even set up the slider. And the slider, hitters are hitting 146 against it. He wants to get to the pitch, but if he cannot throw fastballs for strikes, there's no chance the hitter will even go fishing for it.
Matt Carpenter sat out the ball game yesterday with a mild quad. I don't want to call it a strain because he would have been out longer, but it cramped up on him Sunday early in the game. Came out of that ball game and for precautionary reasons wasn't in there yesterday, but he said he was fine, and here he is in the leadoff spot where he is far more comfortable than the 3-hole. He has 44 starts in the 3-hole this year, and the average is not pretty. He has now 41 starts, including tonight, in the 1 spot, and he is very comfortable there. At least from a productivity standpoint. Fastball up, and he lines it to left field, a leadoff single. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Mike Matheny in his 6th year as the manager of the Cardinals. Tommy Pham has been hot all year since coming up. Paul DeJong has been swinging it well. Randall Grichuk has hit a home run in 4 consecutive ball games. And then it's Molina, Wong, the kid, Harrison Bader, Greg Garcia, and Lance Lynn. One of the interesting things about John Gray road versus home, he's been able to get a high rate of ground balls at Coors Field and not nearly the same amount of ground balls out on the road.
It's strange to me. He has more strikeouts on the road than at Coors Field.
That goes foul, and quickly it's a 2-strike count on Pham.
Now, looking back to the game in New York, he lasted 2 innings, gave up 9 hits, 8 earned runs. There was a lot of missed location, but not a lot of hard hit baseballs. There was maybe 2 balls hit that day that were really squared up against him. A little bit of bad luck, but it's not bad luck when you're missing location middle part of the zone.
Pitching coaches will tell you that those bloops, even though they may not be hard contact, they'd be ground balls if you're working around the knees, but when you're up belt high, thigh high, and above, it does allow for the old Texas leaguer more frequently. That was held, strike 3. Good job by Ryan Hannigan, 1 out. Here's the Rockies with the glove. Gerardo Parra, Gold Glover in left, Blackman in center, Cargo has Gold Gloves in right, Trevor Story, DJ LeMahieu up the middle, Arenado and Desmond on the corners. He's playing first base tonight. Tony Walters caught last night. Paul DeJong will step up. And this ball is well hit left center field. And Young has hit it out. 2-run home run for DeJong. His 13th of the year. And the Rockies trailing 2-0 early.
Well, the Cardinals feel comfortable being back home. We mentioned last night that the Cardinals have started off the second half on the road. You can see the leg kick of DeJong. It's nice and tight. Gets his legs into it. They talk about guys with sneaky pop. It's exactly what DeJong has.
Randall Grichuk, nothing sneaky about his pop. A home run in 4 straight. Gets a breaking ball for strike 1. 6 of his last 8 hits are home runs. Charlie in center field. That's out number 2. Now the Rockies once again will be playing from behind. Well, that's a great view right there of Steve Foster, and it's great to see. Steve Foster spent the night in the hospital yesterday. He was running yesterday morning, had some chest pains. He was concerned, and his dad had a heart attack when he was 48, and I'm sure that added to the concern for Steve. The great news is he checked out beautifully with all of the tests and a battery of tests that he went through overnight. He was given a clean bill of health, and he's in the dugout again. So Steve, that's terrific. Darren Holmes back in the bullpen. 2 strikes on Yadier Molina. We said it yesterday, Spilly. You're hoping not to have to say it tonight, but you know, Senzatella gave up 2 in the first. You say, okay, you can still have a really good ball game.
Yes.
That's what John Gray has to think about here. Okay, I gave up a 2 spot. Now let me throw up a bunch of zeros and get that offense, or give that offense a chance to work. That looked like a strike. It missed location, but looked like that slider was in the middle of the strike zone, and it was.
Catcher strike zone.
2-2 on Molina. And another base hit. That slider was in the middle of the plate, and it was hit hard. 3rd hit of the first frame for St. Louis. This is an example. I'm not trying to pick on John. He's a young developing pitcher. We touched on this earlier. It's a great example of the industry getting sometimes too caught up in velocity, and we mention it all the time. It doesn't matter how hard you throw if you are not putting it where you want. Lance Lynn doesn't throw nearly as hard as John Gray, but he kept shaving corners in that first inning, showed in. He's throwing the ball to the glove, and that's something that John has to develop. Antonio Senzatella had it earlier in the season, did not have it last night. Probably have, from a pitcher's perspective, Spill, you have to remove some of the macho at some point when you're a young fireballer, wouldn't you say?
It's like a guy trying to hit a home run every single at bat.
Two and oh.
Guys
you're not going to get calls like that on reachbacks. Hannigan is set up away, and that ball missed by 16, 18 inches. Two and one. 2-run home run by Paul DeYoung has given the Cardinals a first inning lead. Hannigan, a strong wrist, grabbed that pitch, but again, that was not where he had set up. In the Subaru strike zone, and so was that
the other
first offering, but it was a reach back, and you're rarely going to be rewarded for that.
See mislocation by at least a foot.
And that, may have been at the knees, but he pulled that.
And we saw this. We saw this a couple. Yeah, that's a strike 3. But we saw this a week ago with Jeff Hoffman. Hoffman had struggled with command, and he had 4 or 5 pitches within the strike zone. But because the catchers are having to reach for it,
it's harder for them to frame it. Colbreth missed a couple, and wow, That's another stolen base, and that's embarrassing. You got to step off. I mean, this is Yadier Molina just jogging down to second base, and he was there before John stepped off the back.
The entire infield's expecting John to go towards home and pitch, and it's fine if he did, but to hold it there the whole time, defense has no chance to get him.
Not going to cost him, as this is in the air to Parra. So a tough start for John Gray. 2-run home run for Paul DeYoung. It is 2-0 St. Louis. The Rockies trailing 2-0. Gerardo Parra will lead things off against Lance Lynn. And Parra is 13 for 26 lifetime with 3 home runs, including this one against Lynn. So he'll begin things hopefully in the second. He'll be followed by Ian Desmond and Carlos Gonzalez. Last 11 games since coming off the shelf. Parra's hit .488. A couple home runs. He's driven in 12. He has scored 12. Lynn has given up some home runs, 21 of them. Career high.
How about this number, though? Lance Lynn is 6-0 with a .83 ERA if he doesn't give up a home run in a game.
That tells me he doesn't give up, multiple hits in an inning, typically. And this ball is hit well toward the gap, and Parra just wears out Lynn. That'll be a leadoff double for Gerardo. Spilly, I'm sure you had a couple of guys. It did not matter what they threw. You just saw them really, really well. And that clearly is the case for Parra against Lynn.
Every guy has a pitcher, good or bad. You probably have a guy that's maybe not in the league anymore, but then you also have guys all-star caliber like Lance Lynn, where you just see the baseball. And where they throw it, it goes into your bat pad. And for Gerardo, his timing has been on since he's come off the disabled list. He's brought some stability to the lineup.
So here's Ian Desmond. Desi's had success also. Not to the level of Parra, but 14 at bats. He's got 5 hits against Lance Lynn. good swing. Seems like Desmond's getting the ball in the air a little bit more of late. Had that ball off the center field wall in the series that was just completed against the Pirates.
Well, oftentimes people talk about launch angles. It's not just launch angles, changing your swing. It's what pitches you're looking for. For example, a guy like Ian Desmond needs a ball up to hit it in the air. You would assume a ball up would always be in the air, but by contrast, a ball up to DJ LeMahieu is a ground ball. DJ gets the ball up in the air when he gets a pitch down just based on his swing path, taking that inside out swing.
One and two. Two. And a strikeout at Desmond, one out. That'll bring up Cargo. Carlos had a hit in 4 at-bats last night. 2 for 6 against Lynn in previous matchups. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special at Masa Taco Bell. There's a view from the AT&T rooftop across the way at the Baseball Village.
Let's see if Cargo's able to get a base hit. At worst, you were hoping Ian Desmond gets Gerardo to third base.
Well, with Gerardo at second, the Cardinals, who don't shift a lot, but if no one was on, they'd flip DeYoung to the right side. That opens up the middle of the diamond a little bit for Carlos.
Just notice where Lance Lynn's fastball location is. It's right on the edge and down.
You got to go, if you're a lefty especially, don't you have to go up to the plate and say look away?
He just has the ability to throw on both sides of the plate, though, and that's what forces guys to consider inside part.
Good take, 1-1. Cargo has a modest 5-game hitting streak going. Over his last 9, a .313 average. And he got a pitch up to hit there. Found it straight back, 1-2. I know it's early in the evening. This is strange because Cardinals had 40,000 last night. Another really good crowd. It's like a library in here.
It's quiet. See if Cargo can wake him up a little bit.
Absolutely. And this is bounced to second, and Parra goes to third, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Story. Story facing Lynn for the first time. He had a hit last night.
This is the type of situations where the Rockies have excelled in with runners in scoring position, but so is Lance Lynn. 179 batting average against him with runners in scoring position.
comes in against Story, and it's 1-0.
The Rockies as a whole hitting .316 with 2 outs in runners in scoring position.
Down the line, but right at the third baseman Garcia. Leadoff double wasted by the Rockies. Middle of 2-0.
Oh yeah, we have an interesting tie. Matt and I, we know each other because of his father, Michael Eisman. Michael Eisman was my mother's doctor in Colorado. And so we always appreciate the Eismans. Eismans are a great Rockies fans. They have season tickets. Often see Michael scoring every single night.
This kid at the plate is making his major league debut, Harrison Bader, and he fouls it off. And he is a very well thought of prospect. At Memphis this year, he hit 19 home runs when he was tapped on the shoulder yesterday and said, "You're going to the big leagues." Slugging over 500, product of the University of Florida. 3rd round pick, the 100th selection in the draft a couple of years ago. Very athletic, runs well, and he bounces this one foul. He had a great spring. I asked Mike Matheny today about him, and he said he really stood out in the spring in a couple of areas. He swung the bat well, but just how he played. Played with an edge, hard nose, can run.
He said he'll do something tonight.
That's exactly what he said.
And that's awesome. That's a compliment to any baseball player.
2-2, and this is hit to the shortstop Story, and Bader made it bang, bang at first. So you file that away. Not only can he run, but he's going to get out of the box. I mean, that's a hard hit ground ball to short, and this Cardinal Nation is standing up and applauding Bader. That kid's sudden, man. That's legit.
They're forcing him to wait out there because they're thinking about reviewing the play.
That's not a slow roller.
No.
And it's not like Trevor took his time. He fielded it and threw it. Greg Garcia at the plate. Out of the University of Hawaii, Southern California kid.
Well, first at bat, he's already done something, right?
Good pitch by Gray. 0-2. Garcia gets spot starts. Club 17-12 when he does get a start. A couple inches up off the knob. And that fastball rides high, 1-2. Cardinals last night in beating the Rockies 8-2 had 12 hits. 3 of them left the ballpark. This place has been problematic for the Rockies. Last 25 ball games they've played here in downtown St. Louis at Busch Stadium. They've won only 5 of them. Trying to turn that around. Best record at home against any opponent minimum of 20 games. By percentage points, the Royals have dominated Tampa Bay. Slightly better than the Rockies have been dominated here by the Cardinals. Rockies have not won a season series against St. Louis since 2009 when they took 6 out of 7. You remember that well. And I think the run for the Rockies in 09 started right here in St. Louis. And then it continued in Milwaukee. Am I right? Did the Rockies sweep a 4-game series in St. Louis in 2009? Base hit by Garcia with 1 out. And that'll bring up Lance Lynn. See which side of the plate Lance Lynn.
Oh, he's gonna hit left-handed.
He is gonna hit left-handed. He started this 2 starts ago.
Well, wouldn't you change sides? You look up his stats. Up until July the 4th, when he started hitting left-handed, he was 21 for 244 hitting right-handed with 140 career strikeouts.
The only reason that Mike Matheny would prefer he probably didn't hit left-handed is he exposes his right arm. He's got the elbow pad on it naturally. He could stand up there with that execution or lack thereof, and he'll go 0 for 100 trying to get this bunt down if he continues that same approach.
Walking into the sacrifice bunt. It's not how they teach it. It's not the Cardinals' way.
I don't know if that's anybody's way. Lynn did throw out a double left-handed.
Yeah, the first game he was hitting left-handed.
And he has a double this year right-handed. Fight a balloon. June 5th through the 8th, Billy. The Rockies swept the Cardinals in a 4-game series. Right here. The Rockies from June 1st on, under Jim Tracy, had the best record in baseball. 1-1. Two and one.
Matty Eisman. No fun giving up a crooked number in the first inning.
I mean, just throw a heater somewhere in the strike zone. He's not going to get the bunt down. Two and two. He did. Unbelievable. Made me eat my words. So Garcia to second with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Carpenter, who lined a single to left his first time. Dexter Fowler was leading off. Carpenter, prior to Dexter signing with the Cardinals, was their leadoff hitter. One of the premier leadoff hitters in the game. A guy brought thump to the top of the lineup. When they signed Dex, they moved him to the 3-hole. Dex wasn't swinging it well at the top of the lineup, and Carpenter wasn't swinging it well in that 3 spot. So they moved Dexter to number 2 in the lineup and put Carpenter back in the leadoff role.
Have you ever heard the story of Matt Carpenter where he almost decided to walk away from baseball?
Go ahead.
Well, he was given an opportunity in his time at TCU. A friend of his was trying to take a head coaching job at another college and wanted to bring Matt Carpenter aboard. Carpenter all but decided to join his friend. That job for his buddy fell through. Matt Carpenter decided to rededicate himself to Major League Baseball and get himself in better shape. I guess, as they always say, the rest is history. Now, one of the biggest keys to Matt Carpenter dates back to his first Major League spring training. He was showing up so early. The joke was that he was there around 3:30 in the morning. Obviously not 3:30, but he was there before anybody got there, and it impressed the coaches, staff, and everyone so much that they continue to give Matt Carpenter more and more opportunities.
Well, the allure of coaching comes because his dad's a coach. His dad, longtime high school coach in Prosper, Texas. Here's the 1-1, and that looks pretty good. 1-2.
I love these type of stories where you imagine what would have happened if his friend had the head coaching job at a college. No Carpenter jerseys in St. Louis.
And he'd be
a coach somewhere.
He'd be a coach somewhere with probably a smaller house and a less expensive vehicle. One and two. Off the plate, 2-2.
We had that same type of story about 2 weeks ago with Seth Lugo. When we're in New York and you find out he was seen by a scout, given an opportunity to pitch at a pre-draft workout, and had the best bullpen session of his life, and down the road he's in the major leagues. Happens all the time.
Swung on and missed. Gray strikes out Carpenter. Garcia left at second. We'll go to the third. It's 2-0 St. Louis. On AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By the Wyoming Department of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. Visit Wyoming.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Eight, 9-1 for the Rockies in the third. Ryan Hanigan against Lance Lynn. And Hanigan takes a strike. Rockies have one hit so far against Lynn. It was a leadoff double to the gap in right center by Gerardo Parra in the second. But Desmond struck out. Cargo grounded to second. And Story grounded to third. Hanigan behind, 0-2. Rockies, despite the loss yesterday, have won 6 out of their last 8. Trying to get things rolling again out on the road. They have lost 14 out of 17 out on the road. Hanigan strikes out. Let's go to the studio, check in again with Ashley. Ash?
Suit coats, yes.
Suit coats, yes. I'm not the jersey guy.
Really?
Well, you know what? You can wear a jersey. You played.
I love it. You wear any jersey you want. I've always said I don't care what jersey you wear as long as you wear a jersey and support a team. Today we saw a worker here at Busch Stadium wearing a Willie McGee jersey, and it was awesome because it brought me back thinking about fast Willie McGee.
Willie McGee was fast. His teammates were fast also. Vince Coleman.
Yeah, Whitey Ball.
Ozzie was here then. Tommy Herr.
See, Lou Brock. I mean, that is the beauty of baseball, I think, far more than any other sport.
Stan the man. 2-2 on Gray.
Are you a bring your glove to the game guy, or you trust your bare rock hands?
I trust my bare rock hands.
Have you ever caught a foul ball at a game?
In the booth a couple times. People asked, I've said this before, they think it happens fairly frequently. Turn to Doug. What would you say, Doug? Every like 4 years? At Coors Field, it's like every 4 years. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Doug thinks about 4 or 5 times in the last 16 years as if we've seen a ball come into the booth.
Yeah, that's why I love baseball. Is you can catch a home run ball in the stands, and that's part of history. You don't get to take home an NFL football. You don't get to take home a basketball or a soccer ball.
John bounces that one foul. A guy yesterday made a really nice play in the stands in St. Louis and caught it and then ran through.
He ran to the beer line.
Ran to the refreshment stand.
It's not like in Little League where you return the baseball and you get 4 licorice.
Right.
This guy thought he was going to get 4 adult beverages for the baseball. That's not how it works here.
John's having a pretty good at bat. So watch this guy. I got it. Nice catch. Went upstairs. Touchdown. And now he's going to go get his free cold one. It's like Bo Jackson running out the tunnel. Bo had slightly better wheels than that guy.
A little bit.
Yadier Molina will make the catch. 2 outs. Rockies made a roster move earlier today. Jairo Diaz was sent back to Albuquerque, and Carlos Estevez was called up. Well, it's been back and forth a little bit this year between AAA and the big leagues. Our buddy Mike Rotolo, who I call him Motorola, Rotolo, who works audio for us quite a bit, said that in the Wednesday game that we didn't televise, he was up there doing some work and a ball came in the booth, wouldn't you know it? There was no one to catch it. Strike on Charlie. He had a long battle leading off the ball game against Lynn. Ultimately hit a comebacker. 24 home runs leads the team for Charlie. Talking about this rough road for the Rockies, having lost 14 of 17 away from Lodo. It's been a mix of reasons. Is this going to be an easy play at first for Matt Carpenter? The Rockies have hit just .231 over those 17 ball games. .216 with runners in scoring position. Their ERA .627. 2-0 St. Louis.
Yadier Molina is due up 4th in this inning. I want to take you back to last night in the 8th inning when he led off and had a hit that you thought for a moment might go for 3 because Charlie dove for it. Watch Mark Reynolds. He's goading him on, saying, go for it, take it, take it, take it. And then they had a little bit of fun at second base as we watch this first pitch. And that's a strike to Pham. I asked Mark Reynolds about that exchange last night with Yadier Molina.
Baseball's a game. We're out there having fun. We're competing, and at the same time, I played here for a year, and pretty good buzz with Yachty, and I was yelling at him to run. When he was rounding first there, I knew he wasn't going to third, but I was just trying to give him a hard time, and he's a great player, a great dude.
And Drew and Spilly, I've heard that from everybody that Yadier is a great guy, and Spilly, I know you know him better than any of us.
Well, Yachty's gotten into producing music, and has a whole new side of his life that he hasn't had in the past, which is pretty cool. I mean, he's been producing reggaeton and different kind of rap groups coming from Puerto Rico.
There are many who have played for the Cardinals over this last decade where they've had such great success that have said if Yachty didn't have a hit, he'd still, in their book, be a Hall of Famer, and the main reason why the Cardinals ended up winning a couple of titles. Tommy Pham bounces that one foul. It remains 2-2. 2006, 2011, the latest world championship for the Cardinals.
I've always said you can't have a World Series champion without a World Series backstop. Catcher to me is one of the most important positions for any team. You just think back to the last couple of years, who are the catchers on the World Series team? And they're usually excellent receivers. Guys like Yadier Molina, guys like Buster Posey, they're also excellent leaders. They bridge the gap between position players and the pitchers.
Ground ball, middle of the diamond. Good pickup by Story. He'll throw out Pham. One gone. That'll bring up Paul DeJong. He had a 2-run home run in the first inning on a center cut fastball. Young with 13 home runs. Keep in mind, he didn't play any big league baseball in April and basically didn't play any big league baseball in May. He made his major league debut May 28th at Coors Field. He got an at-bat against Greg Holland in a comfortable win for the Rockies, and he had a home run in his first at-bat. So since May 28th, basically that's 7-8 weeks worth of baseball, he has hit 13 home runs and driven in 28.
We spent a little time today with Cardinals hitting coach John Mayberry. And John was talking about how smart Paul DeJong is. He's one of those pre-med students when he went to college. He can see the game. He thinks about the game in a different way.
See Bader standing right next to John Mayberry. And the conversation began with Mayberry throwing a ton of praise at Nolan Arenado and how smart a baseball player he is. And marveling at that double play. He turned on the line drive late in the ball game, and then it kind of headed toward DeJong. 1-2, and that's strike 3. That was not where John wanted it, but it worked out nicely, and that's the 3rd strikeout.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Well, I was using DeJong's medical education as a way to segue into Matt Eisman. Now, we know Matt Eisman is an American Ninja Warrior host, but I don't think people realize that Matt followed in his father's footsteps. He became a doctor pretty darn close to it. And at some point, he decided to go towards stand-up comedy. So I'm curious to you, Matt. What made you choose to go stand-up comedy route?
I have another question, Matt. We're going to make you answer a couple here at the same time. How'd you get into American Ninja Warriors? My youngest, actually all my kids, love American Ninja Warriors. My wife watches too. It's fun.
It's a great show.
How would you do on American Ninja Warriors?
I don't know. That's why I'm curious too. How many major league players could actually make it through?
I look at even the first one, it's usually where they have to go off the pads.
I'm looking for something to hang on from over here, like to practice some of my wall hangs and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's nothing for you to, you can hang on that banner.
Well, I want to prove
to,
I'm really good at this stuff, like I'm off my body.
How about the ones where they're holding the thing over their head and then they jump with it? Cargo coming quickly will make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 3rd inning for John Gray. We'll go to the top of the 4th. We're going to try to figure out American Ninja Warriors, which still lasts 1 spot or 2.
I'm sorry, Matt. We think the little ninja, Alexi Amarista, would do well on the American Ninja Warrior course.
Strong, light guy.
Yeah.
Strong guy.
He's 5'2", compact.
Right.
You can just fire him across the entire.
We should have a little crew American Ninja thing. Maybe Matt can work this out. We need really novice level apparatus.
Like
we're not
bucket,
like hanging
like
20 feet off the ground, trying to do that thing I was showing earlier where you jump with the pole. And who lasts longer?
Look at, check this out. Yeah, I can do like 1 finger push-ups.
It's me, you. Jenny gets eliminated because she's with child. Okay, so Jenny will have to wait till next year to participate. Me, you, Huey, Stout, Sully, Ashley.
We can put a whole course together just based on, we can do something with the dugout. I can set it up tomorrow. Would you be willing? Would you be willing to participate?
Absolutely.
If I set up,
you set it up by tomorrow, I'm in.
Okay, there you go, and we'll send it out.
2-2 on DJ, leading off here in the 4th inning. The Rockies have had 1 base runner, a par at double, leading off the 2nd inning. Lance Lynn has been on a good run his last 3 starts. Rockies trying to upset that as they go through the order for the 2nd time against Lynn. Three and 2. Oh, we have a thought already. Somebody sounding off. Ricky saying Spilligus would need a towel to dry off after falling in the water on the first obstacle. That's basically what I'm saying, Ricky. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk in a 2-0 ball game, and that'll bring up Nolan Arenado. Spilly's done after the first one. I think I can get through the first one.
I can get through the first one.
The second one.
The second one's the one where they jump and they grab the curtains. Like, I totally can do that.
Yeah, but sometimes they grab the like the log and they roll over like 6 times, and then you have to hold on long enough and fall into the next thing.
I don't know why people don't think I can compete in this thing. I could totally do it.
I think you do okay.
See, now you're just.
But you also are the same guy that tweeted out, "I've got to get in shape," like 2 days ago.
Yeah, well, that was a lost bet.
Are you already off your?
No, I've been on it.
Did you work out today?
Yeah, of course I did.
Why are you winking at me?
I'm not.
You did?
Uh-huh.
I had breakfast with you. You didn't look like you had worked out yet.
I went right after, and then I had the meat daddy.
That's also a strike. 0-2. Oh, that's right, because you went to barbecue. I could vouch that you were on the treadmill on Monday.
I'm all about taking 2 steps forward and then 1 step back.
So today's already a cheat day?
Yeah.
Two strikes on Nolan. He chases away, and that's the first out. That'll bring up Parra. Second time Nolan has gone down, and he's now struck out 5 out of 6 at bats here in St. Louis. Which means somebody's about to pay. Parra laced a double to deep right center in the 2nd inning. LeMahieu at first. Rockies have been out hit 4-1. Matt's answered you, Spilly. Hi, I chose comedy over medicine when I realized my heart just wasn't in it, and that being on stage felt like going deep. I think my dad is still getting over it.
It's all right, Dad. He made the right choice. He's really funny.
you know, my wife was taking Gabe, my youngest. This ball on the ground is second. And that's going to turn into a 4-6-3 inning double play. He's going to take Gabe to American Ninja Warriors, and the thing was in the middle of the night. It was like 2 in the morning. He got messed up morning versus, you know, next day, and unfortunately missed it. So next time they come through. Rockies down 2-0. Colorado Rockies baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Well, we're going to have to find out what happened. Ian Desmond's been taken out of the ball game. Mark Reynolds will take over here in the bottom of the 4th inning. I didn't see Desmond, who was playing first base, do anything that where you said, man, did he re-injure the calf? He struck out in his only at bat, so it wasn't as if, you know, he's charging up the line and may have done something. That's strange, and hopefully whatever it is, it's not real serious. It's been a rough first year for Desmond, a guy that had never been on the disabled list in his career. The freak break of the hand on a pitch in the March ball game in spring training. Molina with a base hit. And then he pulled his calf a couple weeks ago. Spent 10 days on the disabled list. Colton Wong hit a fly ball to left, his initial at bat today. Curveball for strike 1. Wong has hit .365 at home. His .224 out on the road. Wong, a #1 pick out of the University of Hawaii.
It's a pretty cool story between Colton and his teammate
Greg Garcia.
Because they've been teammates for the last 6 years since their time at University of Hawaii together.
Here's the 0-2. Didn't bite at the slider. It's 1-2. And this is going to be a tough play for DJ. He jumps and unable to get Colton Wong at first. That's a great effort by LeMahieu, even to make it a play. You rarely see a player, a second baseman, going to his left have to leap.
And DJ's been battling the calf. You can see him ranging to his left, and he looks healthy. It's the best he's been able to move towards his left this season. Let me correct myself. He's growing. That's the best we've seen him move.
Yeah, he had no a week and a half ago.
He wouldn't even make an effort towards it.
He wouldn't have had a chance at that. So DJ looking like he's returning to health. First and second, nobody out. And here's Harrison Bader in his second major league at bat. And we just got word that the reason Desmond was removed from the ball game is he re-injured that calf. And that's not the news any Rockies fan wanted to hear. Those back of the leg injuries, just when you think they feel good and you don't notice it, sometimes there's still some damage in there, and it doesn't take a lot to re-injure it. Two strikes on Bader. Good block by Hannigan. Well, the first thing we learned about Bader, we were told he can run. He hit a hard ground ball to short, and he made it an exceptionally close play at first base. So he's not just fast, he's really fast. Or in the scouting vernacular, he's got plus speed.
Bader's number 2,086 to have worn a Cardinals uniform. It's the most in Major League history.
1-2. Got him. Good pitch. Nice slider by John. That's his fourth strikeout, and a big one with two men on. That'll be another Rainbow Warrior, Greg Garcia, coming up.
A location for John. Excellent. Out of the hand, it looked like a fastball, and the bottom drops out with the slider. That's the pitch he's trying to get to, trying to establish that.
That's not only his best slider of the night, that's probably the best executed pitch, fastball or slider, this evening. Now Garcia, who had a base hit his first time up. Molina at second, Wong at first. Strike one. One and one. On the corner.
It's a backdoor slider right at the edge of the Subaru strike zone. In fact, that was his curveball. Good depth even from up here. You can see the sharpness of it.
Greg's brother Drew's in the White Sox organization. You know who his granddad is? Guy who worked for the Rockies for a while, Dave Garcia. Dave grew up in East St. Louis. 2-2 on Garcia. Now 3-2. Pitcher Lynn is on deck. Rockies have been out hit 6-1 in this contest. Down just 2-0, and Gray's got work to do to keep it that way. Just struck out Bader after the 2 hits by Molina and Wong. Got him. Back-to-back strikeouts as Garcia goes down, and now Lynn comes up with 2 outs.
He went back to the curveball. That's the best we've seen Jon Gray's curveball this season. That's a work in progress. It was a pitch he brought out last year. The very first time he threw one, Corey Seager hit it out for a home run. 2 years later, it's becoming that pitch that he can rely on. That's becoming a pitch he can steal strikes with now, too, so he's not becoming so predictable with just fastball. So we saw with Paul DeJong in the first inning, knew fastball was coming, geared up, got one, and hit it out.
0-1 on Lance Lynn. And that slider's at the knees. 0-2. Rockies will have Mark Reynolds to lead off in the 5th inning. First things first, Gray's got to finish off Lynn. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Got him. That's a great job by Jon Gray. After the first 2-man reach, he strikes out the side. Bader, Garcia, and Lynn to keep it 2-0.
We're in St. Louis. We got to talk about Stan the Man. There's a statue outside the third base entrance here at the new Busch Stadium. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Through this day, 55 years ago, Stan Musial was your National League leader in RBIs with 1,880. You see the number he ended with at the bottom. 3rd in National League history. I've got my incredible baseball stats book, which I love. And whenever I'm in St. Louis, I check it out. One of my favorite things they say about Stan the Man, he won 2 MVPs, 3 World Series, and a World War because he served in the U.S. Navy in 1945 before the age of 26. And you guys will like this. He was productive from start to finish. From his very first game until his very last, his batting average never dipped below 319. It ended at 331 all time.
He was special, and they've had a lot of special players here, but Stan the Man, and the way he conducted himself off the field as well.
I remember
the all-time St. Louis Cardinal.
I remember hearing stories about Stan the Man the very first time. Certain people saw him hitting in the batting cage with the way he would twist and turn. They go, you can't hit like that.
He could. 3-time MVP, 7 batting titles. And like Willie Mays, a 24-time All-Star. Mark Reynolds hitting for Ian Desmond. He's not hitting for him. He came in the ball game last inning defensively. He's hitting in the same spot naturally. Hitting .360 this year when leading off an inning. Reynolds, Cargo, and Story. Rockies have had 1 hit, 2 base runners. LeMahieu led off last inning with a walk, but after an Arenado strikeout, Parra grounded into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Reynolds takes high from his former teammate Lynn. Mark 0 for 4 last night, 4 for 9 in the Pirate series. This promises to be an interesting week throughout baseball. Let's talk about the hot stove league during the winter. This week generally brings a flurry of activity. Strike 3. Here's our CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during our post-game show, brought to you by Toyota. And it has to do with the impending trade deadline. The non-waiver trade deadline comes on the 31st of July. What should the Rockies do at the trade deadline? Get a position player, get a starting pitcher, get a relief pitcher, or stand pat. Those are your 4 choices. Cargo with 1 out. Takes a strike. Lynn with 5 strikeouts. Cargo hit a bouncer to second. His first time up. Cardinals not shifting. Quickly, it's 0-2. League overall is hitting just .212 against Lynn. That's 4th best in the National League. And this is a ground ball to second. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Trevor Story. Well, Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw, 1 and 2, not a shock. Kershaw is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I'm sure you've read about that. We discussed it a little bit last night. Robbie Ray, league hitting just .207 against him. And then Lance Lynn at .212. Going to head to that Washington series. See Gio Gonzalez's name on there. We don't have the probables just yet. Fastball high on Story. Rockies only 7 hits last night. That looks like an onslaught compared to what's happened so far offensively for Colorado in this one. Just 1 hit.
That's why it's fun watching a guy like Lance Lynn with his ability to command fastball in all quadrants of the strike zone. Not only that, We see the occasional off-speed pitch. He just broke 2 out to Trevor Story. We've seen him reach back, touch 95, 96. He can pull back the fastball. We've seen several at 89. It's not changeup. He's just adding and subtracting.
And Lynn goes fastball up in the zone, and the Rockies go in order in the 5th with 2 more strikeouts. 2-0.
On him too, on Big Cat, man crush.
They had a man crush, but he's fun to watch. Still remember the ball he hit down at Joe Robbie. That was headed for that was in Fort Lauderdale. It was headed for like Jupiter, Florida. The thing was, you played at Joe Robbie. Remember the scene?
Yeah.
It was
so far. Giancarlo Stanton's the only one that got close to that. That was in batting practice, not in a real game.
Crazy. And he had such great hands at first base. Rockies have been very fortunate through their 25-year history. They've had some terrific first basemen, both offensively and defensively. Mark Reynolds is there right now. Is no slouch with the glove. Matt Carpenter, top of the order, leading off in the 5th. Matt is 1 for 2. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. 2-0, the Cardinals. They lead on the Paul DeJong first inning home run with Carpenter aboard. Gray has dealt with some traffic. He's had 1-1-2-3 inning. That was in the 3rd. And he's now behind 3-0 on Carpenter.
It's not rare for Matt Carpenter in the leadoff spot to take a lot of pitches. Right now, 4.35 pitches per plate appearance. That's 4th highest in the National League. But on the other side of that, he only swings 35% of the time. That's the lowest in the National League. It forces you to throw him strikes.
He reached 400 career walks faster than any Cardinal before. That's something. 3-1 on Carpenter. Tied for the club lead with 14 home runs. That's on the outside corner. Come on back here, says Field and Colbreth.
Right on the edge of the Subaru strike zone. John Gray was not getting that pitch in the 1st inning because there was no location to it. At least now he's hitting the glove.
3-2 and a ground ball to the short fielder DJ LeMahieu.
Gear up for summer at your local Rockies dugout store, the place for all things Rockies.
So I was out running earlier today, Billy, and I learned that Lewis and Clark, their expedition in the early 19th century, ended here in St. Louis. They were out exploring the West for 2 years, 4 months, and I think a little more than a week. And it ended here. And it got me thinking that our man Doug, right behind us, had he been wandering the globe back then, would have been a perfect guy to go on that expedition, don't you think? Dougie loves the outdoors. He was a park ranger up in the Badlands.
I thought you were going to say it would have been a perfect meal for some sort of wild animal.
He might have been, but he would have been on that expedition, right, Doug? That's right up your alley. And it also got me thinking about you, my friend.
Oh, great.
And I love you, but I'm thinking Spilly would not be a candidate to go on that expedition.
Saying I'm going to get lost?
No, I'm not saying you'd get lost, but I'm saying, you know, roughing it for you is like, you know, hanging in the cabana at the Four Seasons.
Yeah, I'm all about glamping.
Right.
All about it.
So I was right.
Yeah.
Dougie's in, you're out.
I'm out. Let the guy that likes to hike.
Yeah, the Lewis and Clark expedition. Headed right here on the Mississippi River. Dougie just informed me that nobody died on that expedition. So we didn't want to lose you. 3-1 on Tommy Pham, and this is lobbed into center field, a base hit.
So at the end of spring training for Tommy Pham has been dealing with eye issues. He had it diagnosed back in 2015. He goes down to the minor leagues, gets some corrective lenses, and comes back on fire. Think about that.
He's legally blind in his left eye. Think about that from a hitter's perspective.
Well, and that was something I don't want to say the word and get it completely wrong.
Keratosis?
Keratosis. No.
So it's not called, isn't it?
Keratocanosis. I can't say it. But it's a narrowing of the cornea. Matt Eisman would know how to say it.
Well, his eyesight is working really well the last couple of months. DeYoung fouls that back. 2-run home run to left center field in the first inning from DeYoung is 13.
Think about that, Drew, where you're at the major league level or you're competing in spring training, and he had a rough go at spring training. Loses out, gets sent to the minor leagues, gets it recorrected, gets his confidence back in the minor leagues.
Ooh, that's really close. Even though Pham went back standing up. There's the 0-1.
Can you imagine going to spring training, losing out, going to the minor leagues, and if he didn't get his eye corrected, didn't go to the ophthalmologist and say, can you take a look at this thing, see if I need a higher contact lens so I can see better? I mean, it's the same with like a Matt Carpenter, where we were talking about what if he would have gone on to college and become a college coach. Tommy Pham is hitting over .310 now with 14 home runs.
Runner takes off, and this is going to be a base hit to right. And Pham will continue on to third. First and third, one out with Randall Grichuk coming up. Second hit of the ball game for Paul DeYoung.
The pitch is off the plate, slider, but DeYoung just fights it off. Tommy Pham running on the play, is able to pick it up. Oftentimes you'll see that base runner try to pick up the third base coach, because if you can't find the baseball, you have no idea where it is, you can run yourself into an out.
And the middle infielders will try to deke you. Grichuk, a fly ball to center and a fly ball to right. Grichuk will strike out, and John Gray, in what is likely his last inning, will be looking to get a punch out here. Good fastball hitter. When it spins, he usually struggles. Mike Dunn is throwing now for the Rockies. Gray is due up second next inning, plus his pitch count is well into the 90s. Rockies got only 4 innings out of Antonio Senzatella yesterday. 0-1. And now 0-2. So he's got him set up. Got to find a way to get Grichuk. It may be 4 straight sliders off the outside corner here. Hannigan goes there now. Here's the 0-2. Left it in the middle of the plate, and that will turn into an inning-ending double play, though. 6-4-3. John Gray works out of it. It remains 2-0. On AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. With Mark Stout and Ryan Spilborghs, I'm Drew Goodman in the heart of the Midwest, the city of St. Louis, Missouri. And the Rockies trailed 2-0. The runs came in the first inning. A Paul DeJong 2-run home run against John Gray. John has allowed 8 hits, but he's worked out of traffic. And his day is, in all likelihood, done. Ryan Hannigan will lead things off 8-9-1. The Rockies are already a bench player short because Reynolds had to come in for Desmond, who has re-injured his calf muscle, we've learned. Alexi Amarista now apparently will be the pinch hitter. Then after Amarista, Valleca will be left, Rockies' top pinch hitter. And the #2 catcher tonight, Tony Walters. So give John credit. Did not have great command, but he got big outs, and despite the 8 hits and also a walk mixed in. Actually, no walks. 8 hits, but he allowed just the 2 runs in 5 innings. Hannigan is ahead 3-0. Lynn has walked 1. That was LeMahieu in the 4th. He's got a low pitch count, 73 pitches as he works here in the 6th. Lynn's kind of interesting, Spilly. He throws a first pitch strike only 53.9% of the time, which is the second worst in baseball, yet he doesn't walk a lot of guys. And there's a leadoff single for Hannigan. Just the second hit of the night for the Rockies. Beautiful thing about this is that despite it feeling like the Rockies haven't done anything,
you're down 2.
You're down only 2 runs.
You're in it.
Now Amarista.
And if Matt Eisman's paying attention, this is our candidate for the American Ninja Warrior. Our own ninja. The little ninja. See if he can start an obstacle course and have the Cardinals running all over the place.
I'm thinking of recent Rockies that would have been a good contestant on American Ninja Warriors. And I got the Barnyard near the top. Brandon Barnes. You with me?
It's a good one.
Good swing. Another former Rocky. Guy we see quite a bit on the MLB Network. Mr. Burns, who's now a triathlete. Eric Burns. I think Burns would be a good
candidate, yeah.
Workout maniac who's a little bit nuts.
I think he just completed his 10th Ironman the other day.
He did. Full triathlon. Full Ironman. One and one on Amarista. 2-1. John Gray goes 5 innings, 96 pitches, allows the 2 runs on 8 hits. No walks, 6 strikeouts. Looking at my box scores, Spilly. You had Parra's double in the second. That's the only ball that's been hit to the outfield. 6 strikeouts for Lynn. Everything else has been in the infield on the ground. John Gray fouled out to the catcher, Molina.
So you're giving the numbers about one of the lowest first pitch strike percentage. How about this? And you're mentioning he doesn't walk a lot. Lance Lynn has the second lowest in the majors strike percentage. He's throwing 53% strike. So how does he do it?
Weak contact.
Well, it's because he lives right on the edge. He has the ability to put it right on the black.
And this is a double play ball. Get a ball on the dirt. So the Hannigan base hit is wiped out. Blackman up with 2 outs and nobody on. Ground ball back to the pitcher and a ground ball to first for Charlie.
This is a start for the Rockies going 3rd time through the lineup. They hit pitchers better than anybody. .313 batting average 3rd time through. The numbers for Lynn jump up significantly as well. 186 first time through the lineup. By the 3rd time, it jumps up to 277.
This is going to be caught out there by Pham in left field. He takes a base hit away from Charlie Blackman. 2-0 St. Louis. Good play by Pham. As we go to the bottom half of inning number 6, now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars in the big leagues with the Colorado Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long, and it's available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit attsportsnet.com for channel information. And a big congratulations to one of the Rockies' top pitching prospects, Yency Almonte, who is dominant a good portion of this year in the Eastern League for Hartford, has been elevated to Albuquerque, and his 2 ERA. Big arm that the Rockies got back in the Tommy Kahnle deal with the Chicago White Sox. New pitcher for the Rockies is Mike Dunn in the 6th inning. Yadier Molina. He is 2 for 2. A couple of singles for Molina. And that's in there for strike 1.
32 2/3 innings, 42 strikeouts, 18 walks. He's been much better of late. We've seen the fastball command starting to get closer and closer to where we know Mike Dunn wants it. And his slider has been a lot sharper.
And quickly ahead 0-2 on Molina. Cardinals playing just their 2nd home game in the 2nd half. They began on the road after the All-Star break. 1-2. Mike Matheny in his 6th season as a manager of the Cardinals. His first 4 seasons. And the first manager to go to the postseason every year. It's pretty easy. Now it's 2-2 on Molina.
You always hear me teasing about catchers having the special strike zone. How many times in the last, let's say, how about for Yadier's career? Do you think he struck out over 100 times?
I don't know if he ever has. He's one of the toughest guys to strike out in baseball year in and year out.
How about over 60?
I'll say 3 times.
Once.
Crazy, huh? And if I remember right, Benji didn't strike out a lot either. And they're not getting leg hits.
No. Last year, Yadier Molina struck out 63 times. He also hit .307.
Now 3-2, and he struck out right there. That was a dandy curveball thrown by Mike Dunn. It's usually fastball slider. Mike got on top and froze Yadier here with a curveball.
Yadier's looking fastball. Cannot believe he just threw a curveball, and that's away from the scouting report of Mike Dunn. It's typically just fastball slider, not the big curveball. Tricked him.
It's good to see Mike hopefully returning to form. The Rockies need him in a big way. One 1-0 on Colton Wong. He had an infield hit in the fourth despite a great effort by LeMahieu. And that's a great bunt by Wong, and DJ will just eat the baseball. Nice practice at it. You can bunt it past the pitcher right at the second baseman. If you have any kind of speed, you're going to get a hit.
Colton had throughout this entire bat this idea of putting the bunt down and bunting for a base hit. Perfectly located. And the reason why you're looking to do a play like that against left-handed pitchers just based on the way a lefty falls off the rubber, off the mound. Their momentum usually carries them towards third base.
And there's a slider for a strike on Harrison Bader, 0 for 2 at his major league debut. Bader went to Horace Mann High School in the Bronx. And then he initially committed to Pitt, decommitted from there, then committed to Maryland. And he found out he wasn't getting any money from the Terrapins, so he decommitted from there. He got a little bit of money from the Florida Gators, and that's where he ended up going to school.
And he still lives in Florida. Loves it so much.
Here's the 0-1. Center field and fairly deep, but playable for Blackman. Charlie will get behind the baseball, does everything technically right. Just a tremendous player. 2 outs.
Did you know that suites at Coors Field are available for individual game rental? All suites are private to your group and include a food and beverage package. Call 303 Rockies today.
Greg Garcia single in the second and a strikeout swinging in the fourth inning. And a little roller to DJ. Nice job on Mike Dunn. We move now to the latter third of the ball game. Rockies got to get it going on offense. It's 2-0. It is time for our unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. I found this interesting. Rockies slugging percentage by spot in the batting order. They are #1 in baseball, slugging .616 out of the top spot. Not a surprise with Charlie Blackmon residing there. Out of the 2-hole, it's not a surprise that they're 25th because DJ, who's leading things off, he's going to hit for average, doesn't hit for a lot of slugging. The area that it's been a concern, 4th cleanup spot. You know, Nolan's typically 3rd. The cleanup spot just 28th in baseball, and then the 8th spot is 29th in baseball. You can see where the Rockies have lacked some production. They need production right now. They're down 2-0. DJ reached on a walk in the 4th inning. He's one of 3 base runners the Rockies have had against Lance Lynn. And if Lynn is in fact auditioning for clubs, if the Cardinals do move him, his last 3+ starts have been most impressive. And a 2-0 beginning for LeMahieu. There's Kevin Segrist. We saw him last night.
Lynn's given up 1 earned run in the last 25 innings.
Be a free agent at the end of the year. It's a foul tip, 2-2. Guy coming off Tommy John surgery. Probably not dissimilar if you want to look at a comp to maybe Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman got a really big deal by Detroit, from Detroit.
I think everybody loved Jordan Zimmerman's stuff. I mean, Lance Lynn doesn't have the same stuff as Jordan Zimmerman, but he certainly has the ability to pitch.
3-2. Job by DJ.
There's a difference. I mean, we've seen guys with great stuff that can't pitch, and you'll see guys that have not very good stuff. And by stuff, we're talking velocity, slider, depth of their pitches.
You look at Lynn, 303 earned run average in 2015. Last time he was healthy. Missed all of last year, obviously. 274, 15-game winner in 14. Fouled off. 15-game winner in 2013 at 397. 2012, an 18-game winner at 378. He wins, and he always has a sub-4 ERA. It's a guy that's going to draw a great deal of interest. He's going to get a fairly significant contract. Inside, and DJ with a terrific at bat leads the 7th off with a walk. Let's see if Nolan can figure out Lynn. He has fanned twice against him. In the 4th inning, he was on 3 pitches.
Second straight walk for DJ LeMahieu leading off the inning. Well, finish the conversation with Lance Lynn. The Cardinals have to decide what position they're at. And when you're looking at the National League Central, 4.5 games back of first place Milwaukee Brewers.
Outside ball 1.
I mean, that's what all teams are trying to figure out right now. What position are they in? Are they in a chance? If they're in a position to win the division, then you add. If you feel like you're not, you don't have options, then you subtract it. But there's nothing worse for a clubhouse. You always want your team to add. Regardless of the name, adding people to your team gives you confidence.
Nolan not picking up Lance Lynn. 1 ball, 1 strike. And for whatever reason, Nolan was so accomplished, as we all know. has not hit well here at Busch Stadium. It's been his worst road ballpark in the National League. He's 10 for 52 all time in St. Louis. This ball lined to left. This one's going to get down, roll to the wall. DJ going to third. He'll get a stop sign from Stu Cole. Tying run at second base. You can throw out all those previous numbers. Nolan comes through in a big way here in the seventh. Second and third, nobody out. And Parra coming up. And there's no way Lynn is going to face Parra with their history. 14 for 28 lifetime. They're going to go and get Lynn. Here's that swing.
Yeah, it looked to me like Nolan was just in his mind, he's got to speed up his bat. I think with the way that Lance Lynn throws across his body, that Nolan was back behind with his timing.
So here come the Rockies in the seventh. Back to St. Louis in a moment. Double tied for the major league lead in that category. He leads the big leagues in RBIs with 86. He's the tying run with nobody out. It's our Kubota pitching performance. John Gray goes 5 innings, couple runs on 8 hits, struck out 6, did not walk a batter. That was key. Lance Lynn responsible for the 2 runners on. Hopefully that earned run category will change. Gerardo Parra struck out against Kevin Segrist yesterday. So it's probably not the worst thing in the world to face him the next day. You got a feel for ball movement, etc.
Yes and no. Sometimes a guy, you just do not pick up the baseball, and regardless how many days in a row you face him, you're not going to hit him.
This is one where you got to get it in play. Infield back. Cardinals up 2-0 right now. LeMahieu at third. Nolan at second. And this will get the job done. This is in center field. Should be plenty deep enough. Here comes Nolan, or excuse me, DJ. Nolan stays at second, 2-1. Parra, in the last 10 days, every time the situation called for him to hit the ball in the air to get a run home, he has come through every single time. He's been a great situational hitter.
You have to have that, and you have to have an understanding what your swing is. Parra knows what to look for when he's looking to put the ball in the air, and he has a very good ability to manipulate the barrel.
Now the Rockies a couple of swipes at tying it up. Here's Mark Reynolds, second at bat for Reynolds, who had to step in for Ian Desmond, who we've been told re-injured his calf. Mark struck out his first time. Takes ball 1.
Reynolds faced Segrist last night as well, flew out to center field. And right there on the Subaru strike zone.
Yeah, I thought that looked like
fielder Colbreth.
That's right down the middle. I thought it looked pretty good. Well, good for Mark. 1-0, 2-0. The Rockies, by and large, have done a really good job of swinging the bat against lefties. Arenado 433, Parra 407, DJ hitting 402. But strangely, Reynolds hitting 317 against righties, just 187 against lefties. Here's the 2-0. And that's a called strike, 2-1. Three and one. Carr goes on deck. Rockies have had virtually no opportunities to score runs in this game. They've got one here and another opportunity to tie it up. 3-1 on Reynolds with 70 driven in this year. Spot at the knees on the Subaru strike zone.
Well, it's not received well, and even with Yadier Molina, but reaching back, backhanding and trying to lift it up, typically that's not going to get a strike call.
There is ball 4, and now it's first and second, and an opportunity for Carlos Gonzalez. 2 ground balls to second tonight.
Well, we saw Cargo in the homestand go 7 for 16 with 4 RBIs and 3 doubles. We also saw him hit the baseball opposite field several times. If Cargo's getting out of his funk, it's a great at bat to continue to build that confidence.
One out, 2 on. And a good eye. 1-0.
Seagrass against lefties will pitch primarily fastball, curveball. And off righties, he has fastball, changeup.
Another fastball, and that's in there, 1-1. Barely. Cargo's lowered his hands a little bit, trying to get shorter to the baseball.
It is such a fight for a hitter when you make a mechanical adjustment not to think about it at the plate.
You also, I would think, Billy, have to have some success to
trust
mentally stay with it, right?
And that's why the results that you saw last week at home were so important for him.
2-1. Interesting, it's been all fastballs from Seagrass. Trevor Story on deck. 2-1 ball game. Cargo with a ground ball to short. There's one, and the first double play. Rockies get a run. Parra sac fly to bring home DJ LeMahieu. Middle of 7 in St. Louis. It's 2-1. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back. First inning. Paul DeYoung on the first pitch he sees from John Gray. Hits it out to left center field. That's how St. Louis got their 2 runs. John dealt with some traffic after that, but worked out of situations. And just a few minutes ago, Gerardo Parra, second and third, hit a fly ball to center field. DJ LeMahieu, who had walked, comes down the line. And we're 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Scott Oberg will take over. Mike Dunn pitched a high-quality 6th inning. Gray went 5. It'll be 9-1-2. Jose Martinez is going to pinch hit in the bottom of the 7th for the Cardinals as you look at the numbers on Scott Oberg. We've seen Scott really good. We've seen Scott struggle.
His last outing was against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he struggled. 1 inning, 2 hits, an earned run, and a strikeout.
Martinez a home run in last night's ball game. That was the 4th pinch hit home run by the Cardinals this year. Remember last year they set a major league record. They had 17 pinch hit home runs last year.
That's a ton. Kidding me?
Oberg with the 1-0 delivery, and the slider's high. Martinez has been great in this role. Pat Vallejo of the Rockies has been outstanding. Pat, last 2 pinch hitting appearances, both home runs. Tied a Rockies record with Mark Sweeney. Big fastball, swung on and missed, 2-1. He went 2-2. Mark Carlson at first. Here's Oberg's 2-2. And that slider, they'll check out again. No swing this time. 3-2. Two runs, 9 hits for St. Louis, a run on just 3 hits for the Rockies tonight. Bottom of 7. Leadoff man's Martinez, 3-2, and this is lined toward right center field. Cargo will cut it off, and Martinez has a leadoff single. Well, Matt Eisman has taken over our Twitter account tonight. Earlier I asked him how he got into American Ninja Warrior. He said he got into it through Sports Soup. He wanted someone who knew sports and had a sense of humor and loved ninjas. And he fits. Stand-up comic, as Spilly has told the world. So good for Matt. Great show. A lot of fun. Those guys are very entertaining. Matt Carpenter, 1 for 3, singled in front of that home run by DeYoung in the first inning. There's a strike. And this is slowly hit the second. DJ will get the lead runner. He has that great clock in his head. Got it to Story just in time.
He gets down to second base quickly. A yard sale at second base. C.B. Buckner, the second base umpire, is pointing for him to pick up his gloves.
I think
Jose thinks he was like, did you call me safe?
Yeah,
no,
was
I'm
he
not
off the
calling you
bag?
safe. Pick up your stuff.
You're littering. Tommy Pham singled in the 5th, also strikeout and a ground ball to short. Fastball, slider for a strike. Tommy Pham has worked hard to get back to the big leagues. 29-year-old, just his 207th big league game. And this ball is in the air to deep right. Cargo is going to bail out right by that wall. It's foul. We talked about it yesterday.
Let's see if he
Hopefully
got
he's okay.
stuck in there.
Billy, there were some ballparks you mentioned yesterday where you go into that area and it's frightening because you know the wall's right next to the line. Two strikes on Pham. .809 minor league games. See if Scott can make a pitch here. And this is fouled off. Matt Bowman is going to handle the 8th inning apparently for St. Louis. Another big crowd here at Busch Stadium, 41,514. Rockies with the 3rd best record in the National League, tied with Arizona. Swung on and missed, and strikeout of Tommy Pham by Scott Oberg. That's out number 2. Mile High Mark could surprise you guys. Pretty sure he's a ninja on off days. Mark, what do you think? Are you going to support your friend's proclamation here or tell the truth?
Maybe if the course we're doing is like domestic duties, and I'm, you know, ninja vacuuming and ninja laundry and I don't know, ninja lawn mowing and.
Then our money should be on you, huh?
Yeah, ninja watering the plants.
Hey, you're a former soccer player, Mark. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, once in a while I had some athletic ability.
Here's the 1-0, and this ball is lifted to center field and deep, but playable. Oberg did a good job. We'll go to the 8th. The Rockies down just a run. Trevor Story will be first up.
Rockies got on the board in the last inning. Good chance that Pat Valaika is going to pinch hit. Drew and Spilly were talking about the pinch hit numbers. He's up there in the league. And I asked him about how he kind of thought about that coming into this year.
Did some research online just to see, you know, if there are any articles on it or anything.
Are there?
Yeah, there are. And one common thing I saw was, you know, pinch hitters, you got to be aggressive. You don't want to get in a hole.
He was talking about people like Lenny Harris. He even said John Vanderwall's name came up. I know that, Drew, you mentioned Mark Sweeney. And Spilly, I've heard you say that, right? Pinch, you got to fire. You got to be ready to go. And that's what he saw in his research.
You have to. A good pinch hitter wastes no time, because for a couple reasons. If you're facing a relief pitcher, most likely they want to get to their secondary pitch as fast as possible. So if you can fire and get a fastball that you can handle, it's great. Second part of it, if you foul that pitch off, you are closer to hitting the next pitch because of your timing, and everything is locked in a lot sooner.
So Matt Bowman to Trevor Story, and fastball is in there for a strike. Bowman, DC native, went to Princeton initially as a shortstop and then was converted to the mound. Trevor tonight, a ground ball to third and a strikeout swinging. That's against Lance Lynn.
There have been 4 Princeton players in the major leagues. The tall Chris Young, not the outfielder. Will Venable, former Padres outfielder, he's bounced around. And Ross Ohlendorf. Used to pitch with the Pirates.
Another big right-hander.
Yep, he's bounced around too.
1-1. Pulled foul.
And our
all-time
Twitter tick
30
was what?
Out of Princeton to get to the big leagues.
30 what?
Princetonians.
Oh.
To get to the big leagues.
I was going to say Matt Eisman was a Princeton grad as well.
See, there you go. It fits the storyline tonight, right?
Yep.
One ball, 2 strikes on Story. 2-1 St. Louis. And this ball clubbed high and deep left field. Way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Trevor Story with the tying home run.
Off the bat, Bowman knew it. Trevor looking into the dugout, letting the guys know he's back. Shortening up his swing, limiting the effort. And when he hits it, he clubs it.
Yep, they generally stay hit for a while. He did not miss this. So the Rockies, despite being out hit 10-4, are all even with the Cardinals. Now Ryan Hannigan with Pat Valaika on deck. And that hit him.
All too familiar for the Cardinals fans. This bullpen has struggled so much this season. You mentioned the other day, 20 games this season where the Cardinals have had a lead of 2 runs or more and have lost.
Hannigan at first, the go-ahead run, and Pat Valaika, his last 2 pinch hitting appearances have ended like this. This is Sunday against the Pirates, and this is last night. Nine home runs for Valaika in part-time duty.
We always like to point out some strange numbers. Yes, Valaika with the 3 home runs. Valaika's hitting .263, has 9 homers, 28 RBIs. Is a great OPS of .854.
They're going to bring some gasoline into the game with Trevor Rosenthal, the former closer for the Cardinals.
The last number I wanted to point out with Valaika, 284 on base percentage.
Trevor Story has tied it up with his 14th. With respect to Matt, I'm going to go with Greg Holland. Hopefully the Rockies are in that situation. Pat Valaika is going to step in against Trevor Rosenthal. At first base, Ryan Hannigan. He was just brushed on that pitch from Matt Bowman. Charlie Blackmon on deck. And Valaika got the bunt down. And you know what? Thank you very much, Matt Carpenter, because that ball's going to go foul. I was surprised he fielded it.
That's the inexperience. This first year for Matt Carpenter at first base, and for him it's a different angle. At third and at second base, he doesn't see the ball come to him like this. If he lets it go, there's a good chance that goes foul.
Maybe, again, it's hard from that angle. Maybe he didn't want to risk it.
Well, I think he was trying to get to the ball quickly to maybe make a throw to Hannigan at second base. Hannigan not the fleet of foot.
Pat Valaika, whatever you ask him to do, he gets it done. So now Blackmon and LeMahieu. Charlie robbed of a hit on a diving catch by Tommy Pham in the 6th inning. Down the line, just foul. This, honestly, is the guy you want up. I mean, never bad when Nolan's at the plate, obviously. But this is the guy right now you want at the plate if you're a Rockies fan. What an extraordinary year he's had. Chance to give the Rockies the lead. Career .356 hitter against St. Louis as well. And a line drive, diving catch made by Wong. Second time Blackmon's been robbed. And Hannigan did a good job of running the bases there. He didn't assume that was going to go through, and he got back to the bag at second.
You don't want to tip your cap to Colton Wong. You want to throw your helmet at him. This is a fantastic play. You can see the athleticism of Colton. Fully laid out, took the proper angle, just saved a run.
DJ tonight, a ground ball to short and a couple of walks. Good swing from LeMahieu. on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Know what you're going to get with Rosenthal.
Comes the fastball.
I like this matchup. Many matchups you don't like with DJ. The other good thing is Hannigan, who doesn't run well, with 2 outs, he's off with the crack of the bat. 2-strike count.
They were looking at Rosenthal earlier this year, and it wasn't that they wanted to take the closing role away from him. They liked the idea, like the Andrew Millers of the world, the Archie Bradleys. They felt like he could be their high leverage reliever.
0-2. And now 1-2.
Rosenthal's last appearance came in New York, where he infamously failed to cover first base on a ground ball hit to first from Jose Reyes to Matt Carpenter.
Cost the Cardinals the game.
He took the loss.
2-2 on DJ. Go ahead run at second and Ryan Hannigan. 3-2. Nolan looming on deck. And he got him. In the inning, Trevor Story dialed up a long distance call to tie this baseball game, taking Matt Bowman deep. 2-2 going to the bottom of the 8th at Busch Stadium. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. That looks like fun.
Does look like fun.
Looks refreshing also. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jake McGee on for the Rockies in a 2-2 ball game. Randall Grichuk, Yadier Molina, Colton Wong, 4, 5, and 6.
Well, Jake this year has been very good. You can see where the innings pitched, more strikeouts than innings pitched. Very important. The low batting average, 211 against, but more importantly, it's getting the first batter out of the inning. He has been fantastic. 125 batting average against him. When you get late in the game, getting that leadoff runner.
You got a big swing guy coming to the plate. Spent a little bit of time down in Memphis this year when he was really struggling, and since his return he's been much better, and he's hit a lot of long balls. Home run in 4 consecutive games, in fact, for Grichuk. Tonight 0 for 3, 2 fly balls and a 6-4-3 double play. And he didn't want to give in on a first pitch fastball, figuring Grichuk would be firing. A rare breaking ball from McGee. Ball 1.
Grichuk said he shortened up his swing. Very minor adjustment mechanically, but for him, his biggest adjustment was pitch selection. He is forcing himself to be patient and looking for a pitch he can handle. He almost got away with.
He almost ran himself into a check
double.
swing double, right? Here's the 1-1, and Grichuk hits a hot shot that Nolan didn't handle, and Grichuk reaches.
Nolan's not happy at all. Short hop, that's difficult. It looked like it even hit him in the shin.
It's going to be a hit.
That ball's hit hard.
Rocket.
Even the great Nolan Arenado cannot get every baseball hit to him.
So on that base hit, Grichuk aboard, Yadier Molina at the plate. Molina 2 singles, and he was caught looking on a breaking ball the 6th inning. That was against Mike Dunn. Molina studying Mike Schilt, the third base coach, to see if they're going to put a bunt on. Not on, and this is popped up near the Cardinals dugout and playable for Reynolds.
That's where the extra real estate here at Busch Stadium comes back to bite the Cardinals. The 13th annual Faith Day at Coors Field is Sunday, August 6th. Stay for the free postgame concert featuring Newsboys, presented by Chick-fil-A.
Colton Wong also with a couple of hits today. 2 runs, 11 hits for the Cardinals. The Rockies have just 4 hits, but we're tied in the bottom of the 8th. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Just I haven't forgotten about you at first base, Jack. Grichuk, not a base stealer, typically.
I think he's looking to try to get some sort of action going.
Ground ball to Nolan. Good feed on to first. In time double play.
Fantastic.
Jake McGee induces the ground ball, and we will go to the ninth, tied at 2. Coming up for the Rockies, Nolan Arenado, Gerardo Parra, and Mark Reynolds. First up, he had a double in the 7th inning. That was the biggest hit of the ball game. It made it 2nd and 3rd, with DJ having walked prior to the at-bat by Arenado. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. And then Gerardo Parra hit the scoring fly ball to center. Trevor Rosenthal remains in the ball game. Nolan has seen him only one other time. He's 0 for 1. He went around, it's 0-1. Here's the double in the 7th inning.
And he was cheating against Lance Lynn. He was getting blown away by the fastball. You can see he started his swing early.
Nolan checked that swing, 1-1. When you see a guy do that back-to-back pitches, what's going on, Spilly?
Well, he's cheating. Well, yeah, he's not guessing. He's cheating. He obviously he doesn't like where his timing is.
Ball and 2 strikes.
It's a constant battle for a hitter, just like it is for a pitcher, making sure your timing with your body is correct. And for a hitter, just being off time by a split second, whether you don't see it coming out of the pitcher's hand, can throw your entire mechanics off.
99 on that fastball, and Nolan spoiled it.
Trying to get back in the box. You're trying to remain confident, trust your hands, stay back. But you also know that, hey, my timing's off. My swing's a little long right here. I need to get it going sooner.
1-2. And this is in the air to center field. Bader will make the catch. Now it'll be Gerardo Parra's turn. 1 for 9. He has seen Rosenthal more than anybody. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in a game. Parra a double, grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, and the sac fly to get the Rockies their first run. So he's 1 for 2. 41 driven in by Parra. He'd like to make it 42. Drive himself in right here.
Rosenthal's second in the National League amongst relievers with a 14.1 strikeout per 9.
Two ball game, 1 out, 1-1 count on Parra. And Parra gets underneath it just slightly, as Nolan did. This will be the second out. Well, the former Cardinal coming up, Mark Reynolds. Knows a thing or two about hitting the ball out of the ballpark.
Power versus power. Except Mark Reynolds is a different character than the Cardinals are used to seeing. Mark has the ability now to shorten up the swing. And that swing was shortened up thanks in part to a guy in the Cardinals dugout. That person, John Mabry.
Yeah, John's a very humble guy, and it takes a lot of work on a player's part, whatever advice is imparted or mechanical change is made. But the player, first of all, not only has to buy in, but he, with a veteran guy who's had a fine career like Mark Reynolds, at the time, it's not typically, and John explained this, a hitting coach going to a veteran player. It's always going to be the veteran player saying, hey, what do you see? How can you help me accomplish X? And to Mark Reynolds' credit, he took some of that advice and worked diligently, and we know he makes contact at a higher rate. The average has gone up the last couple of years. The Rockies have been the beneficiaries. 2-1, 3-1. The other thing I love about Reynolds, I point this out a lot, and it goes back to when you played with Jason Giambi. Such an unselfish guy. If he doesn't get a pitch to hit, he's going to pass the baton and trust his teammate.
And the guy behind him, you know what his pedigree is, Carlos Gonzalez.
3-1. Didn't give in, did Rosenthal with a fastball. He spun one there, and it's 3-2.
Now you see the wheels turning now for Mark Reynolds, because Yadier will call any pitch at any time, and Mark knows that.
Good swing.
Even with Rosenthal's fastball that averages 98.8 miles an hour, that 3-1 curveball throws in the back of your mind, will he go to an off-speed pitch again? Think about that. Just that little second of doubt can throw you off from that last pitch that was fouled straight back to being hit several rows deep.
They're going to go fastball again. 3-2. And this is looped to shallow center field. It'll drop. So Mark Reynolds with 2 outs, a single to center, and that'll bring up Cargo.
They wanted the pitch down and away. This ball leaks back out over the middle. Mislocation up in the zone, and even though the ball's not hit well, those pitches will fall for hits far more often than the down and away fastball.
Cargo 1 for 2 against Rosenthal. Inside. Greg Holland's the only guy up in the Rockies bullpen. Again, typically when you're the home team, you go to your closer in the 9th inning. Not necessarily on the road in a tie game. This ball lined to deep right field. It is hooking foul.
Change up, out away from him. The out here probably will not call the changeup again. That pitch sped up Cargo's bat.
Reynolds at first, 1-2 on Gonzalez. Shook off the fastball to the slider. And this ball lined to center field, and it will drop. Reynolds in scoring position. The Cargo coming through, and here comes Trevor Story. Comes Derek Lilliquist also.
Slider up, shook off Yadier. You can see the body language of Molina behind home plate. Is a pitch that Cargo can handle up in the zone, spinning.
And we talked about it at the outset yesterday, Spilly, the fact that there have been signs of late. Cargo slowly putting together better at bats. Trevor Story certainly has put together better at bats. Last 9 ball games for Story, 364 average, 3 home runs, including the one tonight. He's driven in 12. It deepens that lineup. All year, you go back to spring training, you felt like it was going to be one of the most formidable lineups in baseball. It has not played out as such. Last week, though, the Rockies scored a boatload of runs. And they're trying to take the lead here in the 9th with 2 outs. Story tied it up last inning with a long home run to left against Matt Bowman. First pitch strike, or Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Rockies down 2-1. Story against Bowman. He went down and got a fastball and launched it over the bullpen and left. Home run number 14 this year for Story. Oh, 1. Rosenthal being aggressive with the fastball. 1-1. First at bat ever for Trevor against Rosenthal.
Right, Trevor versus Trevor.
1-1.
Based on that swing, there's no reason for Rosenthal to go to any sort of off-speed pitch. Trevor has to shorten up. Cannot take a big swing when you have velocity up in near the 99 to 100 mile an hour range. Has to be short.
Ball and 2 strikes. Trying to get him on a slider away. 2-2.
That's a pitch, you know, it's a wasted pitch. They're trying to see if they can get him to bite, get a check swing. There's no intent for that pitch to be a strike or anywhere near it.
Two and 2. Rosenthal got 3 outs in the 8th. Got the first 2 hitters this inning on fly balls to center. Arenado and Parra. Single by Reynolds, single by Cargo. 2-2 on Story. Trevor tied it up. Now try to give the Rockies the lead. Strike 3. So it's 2-2 going to the bottom of the ninth at Busch Stadium. Ninth inning, Jake McGee will try to get this thing to extra frames. Let's take a look at our starters tomorrow. In the final game of this 3-game set in St. Louis, Jeff Hoffman, who struggled in his last outing, got beat up by the Pirates on Friday. And speaking of guys who throw hard, Carlos Martinez, like Jeff Hoffman, with a big fastball. He had a no decision against the Cubs in his last outing.
Well, he struggled in his last outing, and guess what his wife told him to do?
Paint your hair blue.
Yep.
Maybe not paint it, but dye it. Harrison Bader swings and fouls off that first pitch. Bader in his major league debut, 0 for 3. Second inning of work for Jake McGee. Gave up a base hit to Grichuk in the 8th inning. Then he got Molina to foul out, and then a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Colton Wong. 2 strikes. Greg Garcia on deck. Here's the 0-2. Got him. Guess not. Should have had him.
Should have had him. Fastball in right on the corner, well received by Ryan Hannigan.
Brett Cecil throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. This ball lined to left toward the corner, and it's going to be a leadoff double after that missed call. First major league hit for Bader.
Tried to get back inside, caught too much part of the plate. And of course, the reaction of Bader at second base, the smile, the cheer. Feels pretty good to stand on second base for your major league hit.
Buddy Black's going to come out. He's going to talk strategy with his infield. You have a leadoff man at second who's the winning run, and also I know he's a young kid, but he can really motor.
There's several options for a manager to decide. You can either choose to go after Garcia right here, knowing that he's probably going to try to put a bunt down. If he does that, do you want to load the bases? Do you want to feel comfortable with runners at first and third?
Well, if he's successful getting the bunt down, then you'll load the bases after that.
I've seen multiple managers not even give in and trust their guys. I've seen many different scenarios.
Garcia reveals, then he gets the bunt down, and now the winning run at third. We'll see how the Rockies play this with one out.
Rockies outfielders will come in and play as shallow as possible.
Jed Jerko is going to be the pinch hitter.
Now this is something you don't see every day. The Rockies are going to bring 5 men into the infield. They're going to put Parr at first base. They're probably going to move Reynolds towards the third base side.
Push Nolan to short and have Story play in the middle. And the first thing that has to happen is the glove has to change for Mark Reynolds. That's a new rule this year in Major League Baseball. Parr's got to get a first baseman's glove. So the Rockies will not load the bases. And some of that has to do with who would be coming up.
Right now, Charlie and Cargo are discussing, all right, where do you want to play? Because they're not accustomed to this type of defense either. I told you, not always do you see teams load the bases.
So Jed Jerko takes ball 1.
Now, I don't anticipate a squeeze play.
If you did load the bases, it would be Tommy Pham, a right-handed hitter, who has been their best hitter this year. Anyway, Bud decided against it. Fouled off. It's 1-1.
I like for Bud to do what he's doing right here, because if he loads the bases, the pressure goes on his pitcher to throw strikes. I get the double play scenario, but for a hitter in this situation, he feels like he has to come through.
I'll tell you another thing. If he could get Jerko, Carpenter's a 188 hitter left on left, and that is strike 2. And that's one of the things, the big element perhaps that Buddy studied along with Mike Redmond. He said, all right, if we don't load the bases, if McGee can hopefully strike out Jed Jerko, you go left on left against Carpenter, and you like your chances of getting out of it. Here we go, 1-2. Fouled off, out of play.
This is Bud being a former pitcher, understanding the situation that he wants his pitchers to have the control, that he wants his guys to still be aggressive. He has a base open.
Jerko strikes out at about a 23% rate, which is slightly above average. Another 1-2. That's a good job of hitting by Jerko, because that was a nasty pitch.
96 miles an hour, mislocation, but it still would have got Jerko.
Five infielders, two outfielders. 1-2 again. In the air to Cargo, not very deep. Will they send the kid? Here he comes. Here's the throw to the plate in time. Not handled. Cardinals win it. The throw short hop Ryan Hannigan. And St. Louis wins it 3-2. Bader in his first major league game. Mike McBeanie said he'll do something tonight to impact the game, and his speed did after doubling for his first major league hit.
That could come down to an 0-2 pitch to Bader, not called strike. Give him the opportunity to hit. Cargo does a good job getting behind it.
If he throws that, and he's perfectly capable of doing it, right, if he gets it to him in the air, he's going to have Bader.
The other part of it is Ryan Hannigan, based on the new slide rules, is forced to stay in front of home plate. So the extra 2 feet to be in front of the plate gives him the short hop.
So Jerko's sac fly wins it 3-2. Rosenthal gets the victory. McGee takes the loss. It's the third walk-off win of the year for St. Louis. And we go to Jenny and Huey in our Denver studios. Jenny?